And I'm muted to start. Lovely start. So I'm going to give everybody a couple minutes to join in, see if we can get a couple viewers. I know it's a very busy night for everybody, 4th of July. Got a lot going on, but we got an early lock tomorrow for tennis. So I'm going to give everybody a couple minutes. And this is brand new to me, so trying to do this live video on my own. We're going to try to do more and more of this. Kenny, Chris, and myself are going to try to do a lot of these just quick videos. It's not going to be a long one, but I'm here to answer any questions that you have, kind of like the soccer previews that I've been doing in the chat. And I did one tennis one as well. But join us over at Patreon if you haven't already. Be sure to I've linked in the chat. You should be able to see that link to patreon.com/JagerBombs. And join us there for more breakdowns in the Discord chat, access to all the sheets. A lot of research. It's $10 for if you choose to do one sport, $20 for all sports and all breakdowns in chat per month. So hop on in there. We're very excited with what we have going on here. It is a very interesting time for us. As many of you know, we've switched over from Roto Pros to strictly with Patreon with Chris. So we have hopped on over and have jumped right off the deep end. So it's a fun time. We're trying to do a lot more of these one-on-one breakdowns, some more YouTube video breakdowns. So excited to have everybody in there. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. I know we don't have many viewers right now, but this will be available for everybody to go back and watch. If you look at tomorrow, we have round 4 of Wimbledon, and it's an interesting tournament so far, and we got Manic Monday. So if many of you follow tennis, you kind of know this is a big day for Wimbledon, start of the second week. So it's going to be an interesting slate, 16 matches. Got some nice contests on DraftKings as well. And I'm going to break down the sheet with you all right now. But if you have any questions, drop them in the chat and I'll get to them for sure. But I'm going to hop right on into the sheet. Like I said, this is the first time that I'm doing this. So apologies if anything goes horribly wrong. But if you look at our sheet here, so we got all 16 matches on here. I touched on this during the breakdown video of the model that we've added. It's linked in our chat to go a little more in depth than what I am here. But reading from left to right, you have ELO ranking that kind of tells an overall look at how good a player is and how they've played in all their matches. And then moving on over, you have grass ELO. Right now, it's just the surface ELO, so that changes with what they're playing on. And then 2021 ELO is more current form. This would be the odds. So this was updated earlier today with what the odds were at the time. If you look at the win probability off the odds, that's just based on what the sports books are giving players chance to win. And then you got salary ranking, where they rank on the slate as far as salary and where they rank as far as odds. So easily you can pick out if somebody's mispriced horribly. And then if you move on over, you have the model that Chris added here, and it's really good. It has a lot of places that we like to touch on. So win probability, which is just based on the sportsbook odds. Overall ELO, just this number here in column H, their ELO number. And then the ELO win probability, which looks at them and their opponent and gives them a probability to win based on the ELO rankings. And then you got the surface split. That would just be column I, column H here. So their grass ELO ranking in this scenario. And then you got the ELO win probability, surface win probability. So that goes against how their opponent has been playing on grass. and how they have, and gives a win probability off the ELO number there. And then you got the 2021 ELO, so the rankings on the 2021. And then we have it all weighted out, so we give different percentages to each of those in the model. On grass, I don't completely look at I don't weigh the grass ELO a ton like I would on a clay court. But it is important. Grass is the quickest surface in the world. It is important, especially for big servers. So then we have the overall ranking. That is how we rank the players on the slate based on all those metrics. And Chris has that on a lot of his sheets. So I just wanted to give you kind of an overview if this is the first time for you seeing the sheet, just some of the stuff that we're looking at. So I'm just going to jump right in. I'm going to go kind of match by match and just give my quick thoughts and what I'm thinking of doing on the slate for those matches. Savilink and Robikina. And again, I'm going to butcher all names because I've done this on the soccer videos for quite a while throughout Euros, and I was not doing many of them through EPL, so I wasn't able to butcher names at that point. But I've been doing it through Euro, so I'm going to do it here as well. But Savilink and Robikina, they are big hitters. It's going to be a fun matchup to watch. Robikina has been playing very well. Sabalenka, though, is favored to win, minus 166 at the time here. If you look at the current odds, let's see, Sabalenka. So I'm pulling those off of Pinnacle. Sabalenka is minus 155, so it's not really moved. It's moved a little bit toward Robikina, but not a whole lot to mean anything to me. And I will update all the odds on an extra column beside column K, so you can kind of see where the line is moving. But if I had a lean in this match, it would be Sabalenka. I know she's 8,700. I just think she's the better player overall. But this is not I think it's going to be a close match. I do think it goes to 3 sets, and I don't know that I'm going to target this match a ton. It would kind of be one of the filler matches in GPPs if I was multi-entering, which I'm not tomorrow. Building one lineup for me, so that's kind of where I'm at. Next match is Swiatek and Ons Jabeur. Jabeur it seems to be the better grass court player overall in her career. Swiatek is very good on clay, as we know. She has been playing very well here, though. So it's interesting to see what we have going on there. But I do give the lean, and the model is kind of giving the lean to Jabeur. 7,100, I think that's a good price. You can kind of see she's ranked in the 20s on salary and odds, but she's 10th in the model. Swiatek is 8th, but I really like Jabeur as a value play there. And we got a couple questions from John here. So current form is probably one of the key factors in picking your players. Yes, I do believe so, especially at this stage of the tournament. I do think I would weigh current form quite a bit. I guess the only problem with the ELO, if you're looking at 2021 ELO for current form, this is a little more, it's overall through the year. So you're not getting, if somebody's got hot this week, it's not pulling that in their last couple matches in this tournament. So yes, I do weigh 2021 ELO though quite a bit at this point. How much do you take the odds into consideration when picking players? Vegas seems to get it wrong quite a bit. I do like looking at odds, but so quite a bit. So as you can see, column P, I do like having that to be able to see quickly if somebody's mispriced. Either way, I mean, sometimes if you have a person who is much lower ranked in the odds ranking, but higher ranked in the salary, they're going to be chalk. I mean, if they're mispriced based on their sportsbook odds and betting odds, they're going to be underpriced and chalk in DFS tenants. That's just how it goes. So that could be a potential for GPP to go the other way. So say Jabeur was 15th in the odds rankings, but she's 21st here in the salary rank. That's not the case, but I'm saying if it was, Jabeur would be pretty much very chalky at 7,100. So that would maybe even be a spot that you would go to the other player in GPPs. Definitely play Jabeur in that scenario in cash games. But if you look at the model there, when you're looking at Vegas odds, I do put it into the model as well. So win probability at 20%, that is based on column K. That is based on the betting lines at this point. So it is quite a big portion. I do like looking at the ELO win probabilities a little more. As you said, Vegas can get it wrong, but it's just kind of our job to identify where they are getting it wrong. So if you drop down, the next match is going to be, I would think, a fairly popular one. Sebastian Korda, the underdog, at minus 101. Last time I checked, we'll check what the odds are here, but Hatchinoff at 7,700. Slight favorite. As you can see, as 2021 ELO, Korda has been playing very well, especially on grass since we started up here. And Hatchinoff has not been playing very well, but he's found a little something this week. I really like going to Korda here at 7,400. I think he continues this run. I think it's a nice spot to target against Hatchinoff. And if we check out the odds here, we got – it has moved a touch toward Hatchinoff at minus 120 now, plus 107 for Korda. But I still like that. That kind of move is not going to get me off of a player that I like with Korda. So those two are nice value plays. Korda and Jabeur there in the low 7K range. Next, Berrettini and Ivishka. Berrettini, one of the best grass players in the world, one of the top on tour. Ivishka, and I'm probably butchering it, is a big serve player. Gets a lot off of his serve, and it's hard to break him sometimes if he's serving well. But Berrettini, obviously, I expect him to win. I expect him to be pretty popular here. So the thing I would say, I guess the way I'm leaning on this match is it's going to be popular. And with Ivishka's serve, he could take a set off of him. If he takes a set off of Berrettini at 10-4, I don't know that Berrettini's going to be worth it with some of the other priced up guys that we have on the slate. So I do like him. He's fine for GPP. He's fine for cash games. I may try to look to go a different route just because I want a little less ownership, but that's just me. Rublev and Fusovics. Rublev is one of the kind of up-and-comers, or has been for the last few years, and he's 10-2 here. He's kind of had his Fusovics number, and he's 5,000 or 10-2 against 5,000 there. I think this is a good spot. I think Rublev has a little bit more pace than Fusovics wants to match up with. So I think Rublev is a nice GPP option. As you can kind of see against Berrettini, that could be a pivot because I think less will be on Rublev than Berrettini there. So that's a nice GPP option. I think Rublev does have the upside to get there. Shapovalov and Bautista Agut, kind of a toss-up match in my eyes. I could see it going either way. I think it does go to at least 4, probably 5 sets. So where that comes in is not one that I'm going to target up front. It's not a match that I'm saying I got to have one of these guys that I think is going to win. That's kind of where I'm going there. It's a toss-up, really. It's hard for me to call either side. As you can see, look at the grass. Elo Bautista Agut is 18th in those rankings versus Shapovalov at 35th. I guess if I had a lean, it would be Bautista Agut just because he's 7,000. Could be a value play. Casey, the sheet should be posted in the chat. Let me know if it's not, but I think I pinned it in the tennis Discord channel. Pliskova, and it should be posted on Patreon as well. Pliskova and Samsonova at 76 and 7,500. That's an interesting one. I don't know what people are going to do with this match. Pliskova has skated by a couple matches here. Does have kind of a double fault issue this week, I guess you would say. And 7,600, I mean, yes, she's fairly cheap, but I really like the other side with Samsonova. I think if Pliskova gets a little off with that serve again, I think Samsonova can punish her for it and get there. So let's check on those odds. It was basically a toss-up, -108, -104. And it's now moved Pliskova -116, +103. So I like that. I don't think it's flipped to where Samsonova is going to be chalk or anything. So I like that option. Let's see. So Madison Keys and Victoria Goldblick. Been quite a run this week for Goldblick. But I think Madison Keys is really coming into form. I think she's going to have the upper hand here, especially on grass. As you can see the difference in the ELO ranking there. And just kind of overall, when Madison Keys is in form, she is the much better player in this matchup. So I really like going with Madison Keys here. 8,600 seems like a fair price for me there. The next match is going to be matchup of two of the best players really in the last, Barty's in the last few years. Krejcikova has been very good lately. As you can see, they're 1-2 in women's 2021 ELO rankings. Barty is the more superior player on grass, 9,500. I don't know. This kind of seems like a match that I want to stay away from. It almost seems to me like it's one that's going to go to 3 sets. I know Barty ranks number 2 in the model because she's number 1 in grass overall and 2021 ELO rankings in the women's tour. But I just kind of see Krejcikova with the form that she's in, taking it to 3. Next up, we got Yokovich. Joker is obviously the best player left in this tournament. I don't really see him losing. I see him kind of walking through here, especially against Guerin, who is more of a clay court guy. And 11-1, I think people are going to pay for it because he's a massive favorite, -60.25, with a 98% probability according to the odds. So I think going up against Guerin, Djokovic is such a big hitter that he's going to overpower Guerin. Should win in 3. Should push the ace bonus. Should push quite a few big sets. I don't know that he'll get a clean set or anything, but I think it'll be quite a big win for Joker. So I will be going there, even though he's 11-1. I'd mentioned in some of the videos that I did previously for tennis, the one that I did breaking down the sheet, that I didn't really like paying up in early rounds for guys like him. But when you get to this point, you don't have 30 matches anymore. You have 16. You can kind of target the upside that some of these guys can give you for paying up, guys and gals. So I really like going up to him tomorrow. I think there's plenty value to get there. And John has another question here. So with double faults and games lost, are these things we should be looking at when trying to see if a player is trending in the right direction? Notice that sometimes you can find value in the player. Yeah, it's definitely something to look at, kind of like Pliskova. Like I said, she has kind of been trending the wrong direction with double faults. I don't know that games lost is necessarily a specific thing that I'm looking at. I guess the way you would use that is just seeing how well these and how much stress people have been under. I think it's more of hold rate to see how an ace rate, to see how players have been on their serve. and double faults, like you said. So that's, definitely some interesting stats. And we are looking into where to add that into the sheet. We're just kind of looking for a place to pull from. We have a couple things in the works, looking at a couple different sites and talking to some people about having a pool of those stats to come into the sheet. So that should be added in the future. We're really working toward that. But yes, it definitely is important to look at a couple of those advanced stats. Muchova and Badosa, pretty evenly matched here in my eyes. So it's almost one that I want to stay away from. It could go 3 sets again. I think Muchova has a little bit the upper hand here. Obviously, she's the favorite, but been playing very well this week. It's kind of a toss-up match, though, so it's not really one that I'm heavily targeting. Sasha Zverev and FAA. FAA kind of got here on the retirement by Kyrgios. Lost the first set quite big. I mean, he looked horrible on serve in that first set against Kyrgios, and then Kyrgios was injured for pretty much at the end of that first set through the entire second set. So I'm not sure what the deal was with him there. I don't know if it was nerves or what it could be. But he did not look very good, and I really think Sasha Zverev is going to overpower him here. If he comes out with a flat start again like that, I think he might get punished here. And 9,200 is a fair price. I actually don't have him highlighted here. I just kind of did an initial run. But Zverev would be a good GPP option at 9,200. So I'm fine going there. The next match, you might be a little bit thrown off with where I'm going here, but Hurkacz has been out of form for quite a while since the hard court run that he had early in the year, and Medvedev is really playing pretty good tennis right now, and 10-5 is steep for him. Hurkacz, with the way he's been playing this week, I'm pretty sure I saw a stat that he's not been broken all week in his 3 matches. I mean, that's pretty impressive that he's not been broken in any match. I know Medvedev is going to change that in a best of 5, I would think, especially as the much favored player here. But Hurkacz lets you do a whole lot with your lineup. And Medvedev, he almost was out of this tournament. Cilic was up 2-0 on him, 2 sets to love, and he came back, which was a nice fight. But with the serve of Hurkacz, I think there is that opportunity, and 4,500 does a ton for your lineup. John says, also, how much stock do you put into prior head-to-head matches? If so, are you looking same year, more recent matches? That is a very good question. So we've had this discussion. Not sure we've ever had it in Chris's when we had Slack, but we definitely had it in the Roto Pro Slack. It is something that I do look at, but there's a big caveat to it that it's more recent, like you said. If it's something that you look and say somebody's 3-0 against somebody, and then you look at when those matches were, and the first one was 3 years ago, I don't care about it at all. But if it's somebody, if you go back and look at Rublev and Fasovic's head-to-heads, a lot of them are this year, and a lot of them are Rublev wins. So that is a spot that I would look at it. But there are a lot of spots that I don't care at all about it. Believe it or not, most of these guys don't play each other. Guys and gals don't play each other a ton every year. So when you're looking at this, yes, make sure that it is more up-to-date head-to-head matchups than if you're looking at them from 3 years ago. And the other part of that is potentially looking at the surface for sure. If it was people on clay and now they're playing on grass, completely different. So could be that as well. So Coco Gauff and Kerber should be a close matchup for sure. I actually am going to give the lean here to Kerber. I like her grass form and her just overall how she's played in her career on grass. So 7,300 is a nice price for her. Gauff could definitely win here, but I think the value with Kerber that you're getting at 73, I think that it's probably going to go to 3 sets in my eyes, but I like Kerber over Gauff here. Tomjalovic and Radin, I'm Emma. We're just going to go with Emma, the young 18-year-old, I believe, hometown kid that everybody's rooting on. I don't know what people are going to do with this one tomorrow. Tom is, I think, the better player here. But I think everybody is going to go to Emma. So that's one of the spots that I kind of like going on the other side of the chalk for a little bit higher price. Let's check the odds now. It was minus 115 for Tom. So now we're getting minus 122 for Tom. So it's moved a little bit her way. Nothing to really care about there. So that's where I'm at. It's kind of a GPP option. I might just stay away from the match, but if I am going somewhere, it would be on the favored Tom side there and kind of go against some of the value chalk that we have. I think there's other value that we can play. Federer at 9,800 against Sonego is a good option. He did look a little tiring there near the end of that last match, but he has the upside in this matchup with Sonego to put him out in 3, and I think that's more than doable. If you'll notice, a couple of these rankings are a little thrown off because their opponent is not showing up from the ELO numbers that I'm pulling. They don't have enough matches recently is one of the parameters for that. So that kind of throws this off. So if I had to rank Federer 9,800, he'd definitely be in the top 5, or maybe not definitely in the top 5, but he would be, he would be in the top 5. He would be definitely ahead of Medvedev. So Joker, and then 2, I think the model has Barty would not be my 2. My 2 would actually be very close between Rublev and Roger. So Roger is going to be top 3 for me. Berrettini would be close behind in 4th, right where he's at in the model. So that's kind of where the rankings are coming in. I know those are a little thrown off, but that's kind of where I'm at on the slate. I know there's a couple more questions. I'm going to break them down, and then if you have any questions after this, go ahead and hop in the chat, in the Discord chat, and we will be sure to answer any of those. We got an early lock, I believe, tomorrow, so time to get some builds going. So final 2 questions. Is there a source that reports on tennis players like injuries? Yes. So there are a couple that I've found, and I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to put those in the chat. And I'm, more than happy to put those in the chat. Let me find them on Twitter and give them credit for all of it, because that was definitely something that I found hard to find with tennis news and things. So one of them is at Tennis Form on Twitter. Seems to tweet out any injury news, any withdrawals, things like that. And there is a journalist, Jose Morgado, exactly how you would think that was spelled, on Twitter altogether. Is his Twitter handle. So he tweets out quite a bit of it too. So those are 2 of the best follows that I've found. I'm sure there's more out there. And then there was one more question from John. Should we be looking at first serves, second serves, and return serves? ATP site has head-to-head feature where you can compare stats. So Those are not big ones. Obviously, first serve is important just to see how people are as far as controlling their serve and controlling their service games, and not having to go to second serves that are much more unlikely to put them ahead in the point. Return serves is definitely important if you have a big server. So let me find an example here. Let's see. All right. So Berrettini and Ivashka, butchering that name, I don't care. But he is a big server, like I mentioned earlier, Ivashka. So if you look at Berrettini's return numbers, and I've not recently, so I'm assuming they're good. But like Federer is a good returner. Medvedev is a pretty good returner as well. But if you look at those and compare those to people who are big servers, big ace rates, and things like that, that'll kind of help you identify who is going to be able to withstand those serves. So that's where I'm at on that question. So good luck to everybody tomorrow. I thank you for joining me and holding with me here. I still have a little bit of learning to do, I can tell on here, but it's fun times. Be sure to hop on into the Discord chat, join us, and let's crush tomorrow. Good luck to everybody.